Hello, and thank you for tuning in again live today. Today is Monday, January 1st. It is 12 noon, and you are currently watching the Skill Building Monday Drawing Group here live on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. My name is Jason Leeser, and I will be your host for today. And if this is working for you, please let me know in the comments. Hit that like and subscribe button. Please tag a friend who loves tattoos and help us get the word out. And welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events, to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on demand tattoo and art shows that are all receiving rave reviews. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo in both of the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, as well as our Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel, our Reinventing the Tattoo Roku channel, which has 12 to 15 different channels going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as well as all of the major podcast directories such as Apple and Spotify. Or you can do what most people do and just pull up your web browser and do a quick search for Reinventing the Tattoo, and it'll all pop up right there, except for the book, which is currently out of print. But no matter where you are watching live or on demand, you can always go to www.reinventingthetattoo.com to go through and get the latest, most up to date, most relevant information. You can try it out for free. You do not have to subscribe right away. There's a ton of absolutely free content, all available at reinventingthetattoo.com, including sample webinars from the Reinventing the Tattoo canon. Or you can always get some free advice from Guy about your unique goal setting. Or you can take a comprehensive tattoo history course from Jay Brown. For fellow tattoo history nerds such as myself out there, I cannot recommend this history course enough. It is absolutely spectacular. I highly recommend it. At reinventingthetattoo.com, you can also find a full event schedule with weekly and special event live stream details. Should you want to join in to one of these broadcasts, that is exactly where you will go to do it. You will find an entire Google Calendar dedicated to all of our live events. At reinventingthetattoo.com, you also have access to the Reinventing 24/7 channel, which is a lot like our Roku channel. It's got 13 different episodes playing at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As well, you can also find access to a host of professional development courses from over 20 world-class tattoo artists, such as BJ Betts and Andre Malcolm, Bob Tyrell. They all have on-demand seminars that you can purchase at reinventingthetattoo.com. Once again, if this is working for you, please let us know in the comments and in the chats, and please tag a friend who loves tattoos. We have a number of weekly staple shows we always encourage people to tune into, starting off on Mondays at 9 a.m. with Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom, where we go through and we discuss basic drawing techniques and strategies to help us get back to our roots and the fundamental core of being a fine artist in the tattoo industry. Following that, on Mondays at 12 noon, we have the Skill Building Monday Drawing Group here live with me every Monday at noon. And capping off Mondays at 9 p.m., we have a subscribers exclusive drawing group with Sandy McAndrew from the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. And that is only available for people that have a Reinventing the Tattoo Evolution or Reinventing the Tattoo Canon subscription. But I can tell you from personal experience, getting a subscription and joining those Monday night courses alone is worth it. I did them for the better part of 2 years, and you can see a marked improvement from where I was when I started and then where I was when I kind of took a step back from doing it. It is absolutely worth it. I cannot stress that enough. Those Monday evening drawing groups are absolutely incredible. Following Mondays, we have Tuesdays at 11 a.m. We have the Tattoo Weekly with Gabe Ripley, Lauren Gregory, and Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network. Following that, on Wednesday, we have at 12 noon, we have the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley, where we do a deeper dive into the business aspects behind tattooing, whether it's advertising and marketing or social media or travel visas or trying to hit a different clientele or, try to find, more valuable clientele. That's all discussed on Wednesdays at 12 noon at the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley. Following that and capping off the week on Thursdays at 6 p.m., we have the Tattoo Collecting 101 podcast with Fawn Baker, where we all get to go through and share some of our stories about our tattoo collections and maybe some of the important things that happened to us along the way. We do have couple of special events coming up in May. We have Hell City, Columbus, Ohio. And then I believe we're actually planning for a Reinventing the Tattoo live event in June. So please stay tuned for more information on that. Would like to go through and take a minute to thank some of our sponsors and some of the people that make these shows happen. Starting off with worldtattooevents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. They're constantly keeping everything updated. As we know, living in this post-pandemic era, there are still certain shows and events that are getting rescheduled like crazy. So if you are looking for the latest, most up-to-date tattoo event information coming to a city or town near you, or maybe it's one you plan on visiting, take a look at worldtattooevents.com. Would also like to thank tattoonow.com, technology for tattooers, the leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattoo artists of all levels. They're constantly keeping everything upgraded and competitive with any type of CRM, mailing list, or scheduling software out there. So if you're really looking for the digital tools to help you get more clients to come through the door to get the kind of tattoos that you really want to do, take a look at tattoonow.com for the most cutting edge digital tools to help you achieve the clientele that you really want to have. This would not be Reinventing the Tattoo without a very personal and professional thank you to Guy Aitchison at guyaitchison.com. He is the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. You can go to guyaitchison.com where you can pick up a copy of his biomech encyclopedias, some of his custom tutorial DVDs, custom coil machines. Occasionally, he even has original paintings for sale as well, all available at guyaitchison.com. Would also like to go through and say a very quick thank you and personal shout out to the Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy Nichols, the #1 resource for tattoo apprentices and apprentice hopefuls that are looking for more information on becoming a tattoo apprentice. If that is why you are watching this show, please, by all means, take a look at the Apprenticeship Diaries. That will give you insight into what to expect during a tattoo apprenticeship and, kind of can steer you in the right direction as far as what a not so good one would be like as well. As always, we ask that if you like today's show, please post positive reviews on the channel, help us get the word out. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, become a sponsor of our community, or if you are looking for a fine art or a tattoo critique, you can always email management@reinventingthetattoo.com. If you want to reach out to me for new show ideas and topics, please feel free to email jason@reinventingthetattoo.com as well. Once again, I hope this is coming through all right. I'm just going to check my audio settings and make sure I didn't screw anything up. Perfect. Wonderful. Yep, should be good to go. Awesome. So I'd like to start today's show off with a little bit of not necessarily a PSA, but just something that I'd like to bring up and discuss with some of the people that may be watching. This is January 1st of 2024. This is the time to make a commitment for changes. This is, we are joined by James Wisdom. Hello, James.
Hey, Jason, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well, my friend. But I was just going through and saying, this is the start of a new year. It's the start. It's the time to go through and set some goals for the year. Um, Reflect on the past year and what we need to work on. I know I've got a laundry list of things that I plan on working on this year. Um, but I want to everyone out there, take some time this year, do something new, even if it's only one thing. Travel somewhere new, something new. Get out of your comfort zone a little bit, because we all know when we stay in our comfort zones, that's when we become stagnant. That's when we stop seeing progress, and we really go through and we start to really kind of lose that momentum. So I want to challenge everyone out there: do something new this year. Try something new or experience something new. Work with someone new. Just get out of your comfort zone and grow. Uh, it's not to say don't continue doing what you're doing if you're very successful, but try to take it up a notch this year. The best way that I've found to do that is to do new things. So
Yeah, it's like frightening to try
yeah,
new things sometimes. I mean, it can be
it's
exciting.
very scary.
Maybe that's the other
Yeah,
side of the horror of it, but but certainly it's I think we're always reminded, at the new year, like it's like this ritual, right? Like you try something. I'm gonna I'm gonna change it all,
right,
but
right.
certainly you know uh, we all have this like finite amount of time and energy, and so I think when you realize, like, how much energy, how much time you have, it's uh you really come up against that limit, but you don't know where that is until you, again, like you were saying, you really have to try new things. You really got to try to uh stretch your stretch your capacity, I suppose. And then you
Absolutely.
know what you're capable of and not capable of, which is also a good thing probably to know. So
Very true. Very true.
mm.
I know a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on, it's a new year, January 1st, it's a good time to make some changes. And a lot of people end up making, maybe New Year's resolutions that maybe they don't really commit to all year. So I try to make new resolutions once every couple of months. Um, whether I stick with it or not. Maybe it's okay, for the next 3 months, I want to wake up at a different time. I want to wake up a little bit earlier, get a little bit more done in the morning. Maybe it's something as setting your alarm 30 minutes earlier. That gives you 30 minutes extra time. But I found that if you make those smaller goals at shorter intervals, you can compound those over the year so you can actually achieve more. Plus, you can always go through and say, hey, you know what? Maybe waking up 30 minutes earlier doesn't really do it for me. It's not really having the impact that I wanted. Maybe it's not something I'm capable of sticking with. So let me go through, and instead of, waking up 30 minutes earlier, maybe I'll stay up 30 minutes later, you know? So there's a way that you can balance that out. Maybe you're more of a night owl. I know I'm usually up until at least midnight every night. That is like my time to sit down and work on projects. And I remember talking with my friend Lauren not too long ago, and kind of explaining to her that you know typically the time between midnight and like 2 in the morning, that's when I get to work on projects for me. Right, that's my time. If I decide to stay up later than that, that is my time for paintings I want to work on for myself. That is time that maybe I want to work on a new convention logo or a new convention banner or a website or a new business card layout. That's typically my time to work on stuff for me, to go through and really work on the projects I really want to work on. Now, most people aren't up until 2 in the morning. I get that, right? Um, but I'm also not that kind of person that is interested in waking up at 5 a.m. Right? That doesn't really work so well for me. Um, so I typically tend to stay up later to compensate for that. But that's just what I found works for me.
Well, there might be an element of like quality time Like
Right.
the time that you are, like you said, you have a certain affinity for it, nighttime or the early morning or something, and everybody's got their own probably. You know what I mean? So there
Right.
isn't like a this is the way, but maybe a part of the way would be to figure out what works for you. You know what I mean on an
Exactly.
individual level. I know, like talking to Fawn Baker about this, she's really talked about like there's that that really late, that night owl thing is it's really important for her and for other people that make work. And I think for me, I like to go to bed early and I like to get up late. So I don't know, I don't
Well,
know
no one
what
can
works
blame
for
you
you
on
per
that.
se, but
Not at all.
we're on this journey together. There's no gurus here. We're all like working through this. I think trying to figure out like what is making art about and what is this doing tattoos and stuff all day long. It's a real privilege, right? But it's
Yeah.
also it comes with a lot of pressure, comes with a lot of stress. You got to get your drawings done. You know what I mean? You hope that it heals up well. So many different contingencies are all like playing a role all the time. Um, and so I was just talking with my dad earlier, and that's the thing we were kind of coming up with, like, yeah, uh, we really have to focus on the things that we can control,
Correct.
and that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be out of your purview. So try to figure out the difference between like what it is that's gonna the things that are happening and the things that you have some say so about, and
Right.
otherwise you'll probably drive yourself you know nuts trying to
Oh,
trying to control
absolutely.
stuff that
Absolutely.
you have no control over. But there's plenty, like you said. Maybe do try to get yourself up a little earlier, stay up a little later. Try it one way or the other. That's maybe a comfort zone thing, right?
Right.
Figure out what's going to work for you. Um, so that's
Yeah. I mean, I think you touched on something really important. It's something most people out there don't actually realize until they really get into the industry. And that's there are so many variables out there for when we do tattoos that, some of them we can control, some of them we cannot control, right? I can control how much I shake up my pigment before I pour it, you know? And I think we've all gone through that stage when we were first starting out, when we would grab a bottle of color and we would maybe do a quick little rattle and then we'd pour a cap of it. And we would wonder why that color was so different. Like, why is this not like really, really good in there? Like, what am I not doing right? And it might be a little thing like, oh, well, maybe if you had taken like a full minute to just really shake that bottle up, maybe it would have gone in easier. Little things like that can make a world of difference, especially when it comes down to making our jobs easier. But that's also something we can control. If when we're looking at a tattoo that we executed, that we know we executed it flawlessly, it looks beautiful, we get pictures of it, looks great. Then that same client comes back in 3 weeks later and they were like, oh yeah, I went to the beach after I got this done. And, I'm not sure what really happened. It's still kind of healing. And there were some thick scabs over here, so I'm not sure what was going on there. Like, I don't know. I thought it was infected, but maybe it's not anymore. Like, and it's like, well, that all has to do with, did you follow my aftercare instructions? If you did not follow my aftercare instructions, which specifically include, do not go to the beach, do not be in sand, do not go swimming. If you're doing those things after I told you not to, that's out of my control. Um, if you are not heeding the advice of professionals in this industry, you are taking that choice out of their hands. Thus, that's not a variable we can control. And I've had this debate and this discussion with a lot of different people, um, where it comes down to, we can give them all of the advice and instruction that we possibly can before they leave the studio. After they leave the studio, ultimately, all of the advice, all of the instruction we give them about aftercare now comes down to their responsibility, because we do not have that ability to shadow them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and say, no, 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 don't put that ointment on. You didn't wash your hands yet. Oh, don't go camping for a week, because you're literally not going to be able to keep this tattoo clean as it heals. And those are situations where, unfortunately, I've had experiences with tattoos that were amazing, and they did not heal up very well because people did not listen. Um, yeah,
You
I
live and
had
learn,
one.
right?
Yeah,
You live and you learn, and I think
you
that's
know, so I think you touched on that, and that's identifying the variables that we can control. Um, it's and that it's something. So that's one of my like core philosophies of life. Not to get like super philosophical right now, but it's something I found that really helps me out in a lot of the things that I do. Is I apply the scientific method, right? And I've been experimenting with this for the past like 5 or 7 years, somewhere around there, where I wanted to go through and started to remove variables from what I do. So keeping waking up at a consistent time, going to sleep at a consistent time, eating a consistent diet, not trying to alter it. It sounds very bland, and it sounds very, very boring, and it's not the most fun thing sometimes. But what that did was that helped me identify certain variables about my diet, my sleep schedule, my work ethic, what I was focusing on, where I was putting my attention, where I was putting my energy, what were the things that were helping me feel healthier and feel better throughout the day. So it's amazing when you start to do that with your tattooing, right? Use the same cartridges and the same groupings from the same company, and don't vary that, and see how your stuff turns out. And then, okay, maybe you want to try a new configuration from a company. Okay, get one size and try that out for everything that you use for that size, right? Say it's a 9 round liner. Well, people make different 9 round liners. Maybe you want to try this company over here. Well, maybe their 9 round liner is a bit more loose or bold or open, or maybe they have a different taper length, or maybe it's tighter. Maybe they use a smaller pin size. Well, that's going to have a direct impact on the way that that tattoo turns out. So by keeping everything else consistent, you can then identify, okay, does this work for me? Does this not work for me? Do I like this? Do I not like this? Does this work for my style? Does it not work for my style? How are things healing up with it? So it can really help you kind of eliminate some of those variables.
well, I like the positivity, definitely.
Absolutely.
But I'm
Positive
also
energy,
I also
man.
like to think about like hey, you're not alone out there.
Right.
Like if you're like when you do all the everything right, but it still goes wrong. Like that happens to
It
every.
does. It
That's the
very much
thing that
does.
like that connects us all is the failure. And
True.
there's all of the shit that like that it just falls apart, it blows up. And again, like you use the same materials and the same thing, and you're expecting this consistency, and it's like there again there's these contingencies and variables that you uh, may or may not have any control over, like the unconscious. Like you can't control that bit. That's that. And even that feels like it comes from you, but it's like this other part of you. So again, like I think Hegel says that science is the crowning achievement of spirit. So I believe this to be true. Like the scientific method, like you say, like try to identify and isolate the things that are going to be within your control, but totally understand that things they're just not gonna work out all the time. And we're all in that same situation together. But I just see it on the comments. The creature gives a thumbs up. Hey creature, hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Bruno. Bruno says
Bruno.
Happy New Year. Oh, Bruno, miss you, buddy. Happy New Year to
Yeah,
you.
buddy. Um, yeah, Bruno, maybe I can make it down to Miami at some point in time this year. I actually
Can't wait.
just tattooed a client I think it was the week before last or something like that. Right before the holidays, they moved to Florida. They're like right in the middle of the state. And I was like, oh, I head down there every now and then, whatever. And they're like, oh, well, let me know the next time you come down. I'd love to get some more work done. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see what I can do about maybe arranging a trip to go visit Bruno. Um, I also have family that live down in the area that Bruno's in. So it's nice to be able to go down, visit them. Um, and since it is technically a work trip,
It's tax deductible.
exactly.
It's tax deductible. So
Yep.
yeah, and it's the beginning of the year. So time to do your books, right?
Yes.
Time to go over and figure out all of your deductions and keep on that. You're right. This is the chance, right? Oh, you can now. This year you're going to do it. This
Oh
year
yeah.
you're going to really keep track of all those pennies and all those receipts, and you're you're going to keep up with it through the year, and you're going to be able to, have an easy tax day next.
Well,
next
that's the goal, right? To make
Good luck,
taxes as
everybody.
easy as possible because no one likes doing them except for accountants, obviously. And I do actually know one person that actually really does enjoy doing taxes, and I never quite understood that. But it's a different way of thinking, and that's fine. That's what they enjoy. More power to them. I do not like doing taxes. I don't. But if I can make that process easier, QuickBooks is a good thing. And you can actually add in your accountants or your tax people. If you have one dedicated person that does your taxes every year, you can add them in throughout the year so that they can keep up with everything. Everything's nice there. You can export it into Excel. You can configure your books and get everything tracked across different things. It makes things really easy. It's a little bit of money every month, but if that makes things easier to do your taxes with, fine, because that's also part of a write off, right? This is software subscription that you have to help you do your taxes. You can write that off as a business expense. Um,
Well, it just seems like there's more of a culture now to help out tattooers than
Absolutely.
there was, years ago. I know that Ryan Roy has a lot of great
Yep.
content, um, and I'm actually, I'm using the Friedman Brothers. They have a firm where they do accounting and a tax preparation for tattooers. So you can find them at friedmantax.com. They really are. They've been very cool to work with. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's too soon to talk about taxes. It's going to be on you
Well,
before you know it, but it's too soon. I
true.
wanted I wanted to talk about real quick. There's a change in your show. What's
Yes.
going on?
So I decided to move from Sundays to Mondays. Once again, trying something new, getting
Awesome.
out of that comfort zone. Um, I wanted to make sure that I had a little bit more time and this fit in my schedule. So I also kind of wanted, one of my other motivations was because I wanted to move away from Sundays because there's a lot of sports that play on Sundays. A
Mm.
lot of people like to watch that as opposed to jumping into this. Plus, I also know that a lot of tattooers have off on Mondays. So I figured it might be a good idea to go through and maybe switch everything over to Mondays to maybe help get some new people involved. Especially when it comes down to guest speakers that come in and talk. I'm actively working on getting a few new people to come in. My friend Yuki from World of Pencils out in LA. I've been talking to him about maybe coming in and doing an interview. A couple of other people, my friend Rich Wren, he works right down the road from me, getting him to jump on, do an interview, and a few other people as well. I'd love to get, I'm working on one or two Canadian people that I got to meet and talk with, and one of them I got tattooed by down in Puerto Rico this year. So I'm trying to actively get them in to get them interviewed for this, as well as people that they think might be interested in doing this as well. So I'm, it works out for a lot of people. Some people work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Mm,
That's fine.
right.
I know some tattooers that work Monday through Friday and have off every weekend. Good for them.
Hmm.
If that's what works for them, awesome. Um, it doesn't always work that way for every tattooer, and that's fine. We all have our schedules typically set by, the studios we work at and what hours they're open and all that stuff. Some people that own private studios and whatnot may have a little bit more flexibility. But, a lot of people, typically tattooers in this industry, have off on Mondays. So I figured it might be a nice change to try to get some new people involved.
Well, I think it's a great idea. Welcome to Mondays.
Yes.
It's a perfect day for me. So we'll definitely have to coordinate, and I'll definitely be able to. I don't know. Maybe maybe we get the shows. They run into each other a little bit, which might be kind of
I
you
think
know what
that
I mean.
might be
Or take a little
nice.
break. Yeah, take a little break between. It's like, but it could be. I could really honestly see it being a real great day for this personal development thing
Absolutely.
that we I think you touch on it, that it's super helpful on a personal level, having a group where we get to draw like on Monday nights with the subscribers group is I think it's really important. And it's a place to keep developing where you force yourself to draw, you get some feedback. It's not always comfortable, but that's the point. But
Right.
it is always like, I mean, I'm gonna say it's supportive, but it's um, in a I think in a way that can be good for you to to sort of get out of that comfort zone, like we've been talking about today. And then again on Monday morning, I really like to talk about like basic stuff, warming up, just warm up a little bit. I mean, I really can't stress enough how important it is before I start doing a tattoo that that I warm up a little bit. I think it helps a whole lot. You know, the
I've
same
been
thing with the drawing.
instituting a lot of what you were talking about before, even as much as just doing ovals. Just getting your hands nice and loose before
Yeah,
you really get. I've started to implement a lot of what you've been talking about, and I've started to notice a lot of major changes going. Like, I'm not stiff anymore. Just stretching out a little bit before I get started on a bigger project. It's really helpful stuff.
I hope so. That's something that I really hope, and I don't think that it's like again, it's not a one size fits all. You're gonna have to figure out how to work it in, and then there might be something that you enjoy doing, that you find going to be more effective for you. But
Couple
at
of
least
shots of
we're thinking
Jameson.
about it. At least we're thinking about it. We're talking about it, and then of course, like I really like to talk about different subjects and to share
Well, yeah.
information that I think can dive deep into it, and it can help you start to think about things in a new way, possibly, or how you approach your image making practice. I think that's very cool. So but anyway, yeah, I think that Mondays can be a real great sort of day if you're off, you know what I mean, you're not tattooing that day. It could be a real space for you to talk about the fundamentals, um, and then get into some skill building, right?
Right.
Because like there's all kinds of new technology out there, and there's all kinds of there's always new things to learn, right? So having this, I think, is very I think it'd be really good. Yeah, I like the idea of Jason switching to Monday too. So yeah, thanks, creature. It's awesome. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. It fits in my schedule. I was always worried because I think at one point in time we had 4 different shows going on Mondays, and it was like, okay, let's try to figure this out, because I think we had Ricardo going on Mondays originally. No, he was Tuesdays. So we had you starting on Mondays, and then we had The Tattoo Weekly was originally on Mondays at 11.
Totally.
Then we had Robbie Ripple. His show was on Mondays at 5. And then we had the 9 o'clock in the evening drawing group. And it was like, okay, well, if there's
And
already,
Renee Little's show would be on the
yeah,
Mondays every month and stuff like that. It's a big day. I think, like you said, it's a good day for tattooers. Like,
yeah,
I know I know some tattooers that work on Mondays too. So it's not like, it's not everybody gets it off, but definitely it's you know uh, that's when we work on the weekends. Almost all of us,
right,
almost
right.
everybody I know. Again, there's some that don't, but yes, it's very weekends are tough. Um, and so yeah, I think it'll be really great to to coordinate, collaborate. Let's get some people in here, and I think that will
Hey,
be
I'm all about it.
that'll be so great for the community, right? Turn
Absolutely.
this turn this into a whole milieu, right? From a scene to really something that people find a place where they can belong. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that I've found hanging out with you all, hanging out with everybody here. Um, it's been something that uh, has really been important to me, but also it's challenging. It's challenging every month to get on here and to, what I mean, to, like, put yourself out there. So maybe um, you can continue to do this, and that can be something that um, is really builds a community. I suppose I guess I don't know where I'm going with that, but that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I've really have got a chance to meet people in person, right, from the internet to in real life. It's you really find people that are more like-minded. Sometimes it's tough, like, to find you know people in your general proximity that you relate to totally. You have to sometimes, but what this you know the internet has brought us is like this capacity to go out into the world virtually and find others that you can start to have conversations with at the very least, and then we're meeting up in real life too, which has been very rewarding. And so yeah, that's why not
Yep.
join up,
Why
why
not?
not hang
Why
out,
not is the greatest
everybody is
question ever.
mm,
Why not?
yeah, everybody's welcome to I guess to view it, you know what I mean, to participate. Participation is so crucial. And so that's where we're at. I think we're here doing it every week, and it's it is a is an opportunity to challenge yourself. It's an opportunity to grow, get feedback. Those are the things that I think are going to help you figure out what it is that you're doing. You
Yep.
know,
Absolutely. It provides people an opportunity as well to ask questions, right? To, if you run into us at any show out there, I know you work a few shows every year. I work a few shows every year. People out there that might be watching, if you ever run into us at a show, stop by and say hi, ask us questions, watch us work. It's that's part of why we do this. We do this to help people out. We do this to, get out of our comfort zones to make it so that people aren't scared to ask questions anymore. Um, I mean, we're not very scary guys. At least I don't think I am. I mean, maybe some people might feel scared when they talk to me, but I don't really know who that might be. Um,
very approachable. So
I like to think
very
so. You know, uh, I'm not gonna like yell at anyone. I'm not gonna growl at anyone or anything like that. I'm probably just gonna be like, "Oh, hey, thanks. What's up?
yeah.
Pull up a chair, have a discussion." That's because that's the way I am. Um, but that's part of doing this, right? And it does take a lot of discipline, and it does take a lot of scheduling, and it takes a lot of just making sure that I dedicate some time to this. And it's a responsibility factor. I've taken on this responsibility and volunteered to um, take on this responsibility. And you know what? It's great. Um, and that's something that I pride myself on. I made that kind of a commitment and I'm sticking to it. Granted, I didn't know that I'd be doing this for 136 different episodes. Um, but, we'll see how many I can get under my belt, before life decides to take me in a new direction. My goal is to make it to at least 365 episodes, but we'll see. That's quite a bit, considering the fact that there's 52 weeks a year. Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, 52 weeks in a year. So if I do 300 episodes, yeah, a couple more years, I can get there. Um,
Well,
but
we're all indebted to the content, and
yeah,
so I appreciate you, and I'm really happy that you're joining up on Mondays. I think it's gonna be a great lineup, right? All kinds of stuff to do.
yeah,
So I hope everybody continues to join us on Mondays. Uh, I guess that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. You could appeal, right? Have more of a mass appeal, right? Make things more sort of soundbitey or whatever. Um, Nothing wrong with that. Just not what we do. There's more of a long form. There's more of I think, an interest in like, you really exploring ideas and of course, these conversations that I think they definitely appeal to people, uh, that are interested in it. So, again, I'd much rather have, this very dedicated following than than just masses of people.
right.
So that's much more important to me. So I think I want to keep doing what we're doing, and of course we're always going to try to make it better, and I try to keep keep it interesting, but also um, not be afraid to try some sort of restructuring, try some sort of new things.
Absolutely.
So those are
You can, it's something that I found you can always go back to, the previous structure. If you want to go back to the previous structure, you can do that. You don't have to stay doing the same thing. But if you don't try anything new, you're never going to grow. Right. And you're never going to see what else is available. And, you don't want to become stagnant. You don't want to go through and take the path of least resistance. It goes back to the whole Gestalt principle, that we brought up before, where, a lot of times the hard way is the easy way, right? Where choosing that path that, what, this might be a bit more difficult, but I'm going to learn a lot more along the road. And I'm going to end up becoming not only a better person because of it, but all of the stuff that I'm doing is going to be reflected in taking that more difficult approach. But it's also going to help make things easier in the long run. And that is something that, it takes a lot to do that. It takes courage. It takes discipline to stay with that. It's very easy to kind of switch modes and go back to, okay, well, this is the easier way to do it. Let me just do that. And there are a lot of people that do slip back into that instead of continuing on, with the more difficult path, but you're going to get a lot more out of it. Um,
right. The obstacle is the thing.
right.
The hardship that you wish was over and gone. That's actually the enjoyable part.
Right.
That's the part that is you get meaning from. I think, and getting tattoos is instructive here, right? Because you're getting a tattoo. It's pretty miserable.
Yeah. I
Pain.
mean, it's
It,
not
it hurts.
fun,
It
but
hurts bad.
that's your opportunity, right? That's your golden opportunity to ask questions, and I know you stopped over and watched me as I was getting my hand tattooed, a few weeks ago.
Hmm.
And I had already been tattooed by that artist before, but one of the questions I kept asking him, like, oh, okay, so what are you going to do differently in this one than what you did with my other hand last year? What have you learned this year to help you become better? What have you, what, new things have you picked up on? What are you keeping the same? What are you doing differently? Are you varying your approach? Are you using different colors? Let's get into this. That's
Uh,
your chance to ask questions.
and I think that might actually be basically another way of thinking about the next one, right? I
Right.
find that all the time. I'm working on somebody, and they are, they're in the midst of it. It's tough, but what are they doing? They're talking about. They're thinking about the next tattoo.
Yep.
Talking about the next one. It's like, all right. I've already got. Now I've got the thing that I wanted, and it's the worst thing ever. So I want the next one, and that's so again, I think there's always, that's what it helps you do, is to keep you know to keep it going, there's a drive there that is it's crucial, especially for artists, because we all know, like, you finish up this work of art, as an artist and maker, somewhere in there that it's like, it's not going to solve everything. You
Right.
put it up, I mean, you probably put it in your, as a goal, like you said, ahead of you, then you want to get to it. You want to finish it, but it's not gonna solve all your problems. Likely it's, just gonna be very little satisfaction. You can certainly portray like, oh, this is, I'm so great, and so on and so forth. But you realize that it's the struggle of doing it. That's where your enjoyment lies. That's what you love doing, is the struggling through it. And the same thing, like that's, I don't know, Gabe talks about this too, just insofar as like, the you got to endure the hard stuff to get to this pretty thing,
Right.
and you're delaying your gratification. You know, not that you can't have some satisfaction, not that you can't, not that sometimes there's pleasantness and happiness and all that stuff, but you know, being able to sustain, endure, these are these are things that are going to be like crucial for, you know, going into the end of your life, right? If you're
Yeah.
getting, when you're getting to the end and you're about to die, it's like, you want to be able to um, probably, endure that, right, and not get into such a deep despair that that you don't have any familiar with, right?
Right.
So I think there's something about uh, getting your hands dirty
Yeah. You
through
have to.
experience that helps you, that really helps. You know what I mean? Like, in a way that we don't know yet. And it does something that would be, you know, good for you, I suppose. I don't know, but yeah, I do think that it's that, like you said, that it's like, it is this obstacle, it's this tough way. That's There's something more about it,
Yep.
right? It's like, if it's all easy all the time, it
Yeah. Is
gets
it really going
boring.
to be worth
This
it?
gets boring. I think you're gonna
Yeah.
be bored before you know it. You're gonna be
Well,
bored.
it comes down to value, right? People find value in the things that are difficult. It's not easy to run a marathon. So people that, meet other people that run marathons, they know that's not easy, so they place a high value on that. So by doing the difficult things, we do add value to it, and we do go through and we make that, a lot more valuable. Um, if everyone always did what was easy, eh, it does it's very easy to go through and not do a whole lot. It's very easy. Um, but there's no value there, right? I could go through and trace every image that, someone brings me to, and just tattoo all traced images all day long. There's no value in that. Not for me personally,
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
No, I
know.
hear what you're saying.
Um,
On a personal level,
yeah,
there could be a
financial,
real,
yeah, there might be great financial
right.
gain there.
Well, I mean, there's that too. But I mean, I suppose it's like, what what drives you? You want to be a composer. You know what I
Right.
mean? You want to compose things. That's cool, and I think that's that. I also, want that too. But at the same time, there could be a real labor that is authentic and also, good in being able to, there's an interpretation, right? You're interpreting stuff. I think we've talked about this, you and I, but
Hmm.
like, that it's you know, there's the things that we personally value, but I don't think it doesn't always uh follow that it's the same for all. And
Right.
so, again, we know really yeah,
Yeah.
I think yes. So we just got a comment there. Mike Cole says, I do kind of miss the days of just flash on the walls. I think that you then why then go then do that.
Yeah.
Then do that. Put flash
There's
on your
become a
walls if
whole
that's what you do.
resurgence of that, you know?
It could be like exactly somebody else's stuff. I think go for that. Again, it's tough. It's tough because you have to have faith in what it is that you're doing. So if you're making, you know what I mean, you're making all custom things, you are like creating new images and stuff like that all the time. That's awesome. But again, it's like it's not the same for everybody, I feel like. And so we need that. I do think we need that. We need all the schools of thought and all the voices. And that's where, it's diversity because we're all different, right? And there's so many people that want all different kinds of tattoos. They shouldn't be all the same. You know what I mean? But of course, you're
Right.
going to like what you like. And I think that's, no apologies there. You love what you love and you're interested in what you're interested in. And that's awesome. It's beautiful. But yes, I hear you. Like for some people, they might, if you're just half-heartedly tracing tracings and just doing it and you're not really giving it, you're not putting your spirit into it, then yeah, then yeah, maybe there's something that is lacking there, I suppose. But certainly there are all different kinds of approaches, and these are the um, I hope that's what a part of what we cover here. You know what I mean? Is that like you may or may not do all the or be interested in all the things that we talk about, we discuss, but certainly like we're allowing the space for people to have their voice and to have like a say. And that's where you can, where you get some differing opinions. And it might very well be that nobody has the right answer, you know,
Well,
nobody really has it. And it's, we have, we believe in stuff, we have illusions about what we think is the right answer. But, you know, but through coming, putting the to the test, we start to really get a glimpse of what might be true, and it's other than what we think it is. And that's I think there's something nice about that, about being challenged by the notions. um I don't know, that's just what I this is what I'm just sort of
yeah.
comes to mind. But
I mean,
yes, I do
well,
think,
I
yeah, put the
you
flash on the
hit the
walls, do that. I think that's awesome. And I'll come get a tattoo there. I think that's, you know what I mean, like there's an important role for that. But again, there's so many different things. New customer wants to use Google, Pinterest, their flash. Yes, yes, that there is a there's a certain tendency. It's safe, right? It is safe. I know, I know that I experienced that too. Like people bring me what they want. They have an idea. You put the effort in to designing them something new. They may not be into it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's possible. And I think that applies to anybody at any stage of your career. You really,
absolutely.
you like, you know, they may have people will have a notion, they have like an ideal of of who they think you are or what it is that, they think they want. You, you deviate from that in some way, they totally could reject it. They totally could reject it. So, I think there's a risk, right? You really are really putting a risk there, but I didn't read the rest of it. Uh,
Mike, what I
you
would
still have
say
the flash
is
from the 80s, the 90s. I think that's awesome.
take
Because
some of that
again,
stuff and put it away, man. Archive it, because trust me, it's going to be worth a lot of money one day.
I
Even if
used to
it's old Cherry Creek stuff, people love
totally.
that stuff.
Well, I used to work for a dude, and he had Sailor Jerry stuff all over the wall,
Yep.
right? So stuff from the 40s, 50s. You know what I mean? There's different eras, and so the thing that you think is, like valuable, the thing that you love, do that. People are, like there's a lot of different approaches.
Absolutely.
There's so many, and that's a beautiful thing. And let people decide what they want. Find your tribe, as it were, like the one people that like really respond to the thing you're putting out. That's the group you want. You don't want, I don't know, mass appeal, I suppose. Who cares? You should find your group, and that's gonna it's gonna be
Yeah.
more valuable. I believe that. So and maybe exactly the opposite of what I said. Like you do need mass appeal too. The people that do that, and that's good for them. But yeah, I don't know. This is, again, it's Happy New Year, and I'm excited for the new Monday lineup. It's gonna be amazing. So
I think it's going to be really really nice. Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate everybody that like jumped in on the comments and stuff too. It's always really I think it's always really like enlivening for the conversation. To have like some have your thoughts, because there's stuff that we're not thinking about.
Oh,
There's
that
stuff
yeah.
that's like we miss, and that's having new perspectives. I think really uh, sheds light on stuff, whatever metaphor you want to use too. So,
I agree.
Jason, I got to
Yeah.
jump, but Happy
Yep.
New Year! And we'll see you on Mondays. Thanks for
Happy New Year to
again for
you as
having me
well.
on. Really awesome.
Anytime. How can we reach out to you?
Oh well, you can find me on the internet, Tattooing Wisdom, tattooingwisdom.com. Social media is Tattooing Wisdom. So, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Take
Bye.
care. And that's actually going to be wrapping up for today. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. I really, really appreciate it. Um, Mike, thanks for all the comments. Creature, Bruno, if you're still watching, man, thanks. Miss you. Can't wait to see you again soon. Hope everyone's doing well. And yeah, thanks for tuning in for the first Skill Building Monday here live January 1st, 2024. If anyone wants to reach out to me, you can always shoot me a message on Instagram, right up here, Philly Inc. Or you can always email me, Jason at reinventingthetattoo.com. And I actually have like a little QR code that I'll throw up real quick. If anyone wants to contact me, you should see a little QR code popping up in the upper corner in just a second. There it is. Feel free to go through and scan that with your phone. That'll take you to my link tree. And you can contact me on any number of different social media avenues there, as well as the link to the studio I work at if you want to book an appointment. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I always appreciate it. Thank you for all your comments, all your feedback, and thank you for the opportunity to allowing me to host a show like this. Really, really appreciate it. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys are the reason why these shows happen. So if there's ever anything you want me to see or discuss, let me know. I'll be happy to do whatever you guys want me to do. Whether it's cartridge breakdowns or machine reviews or any number of different things, I can talk about pretty much anything. So thank you very much. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see everyone next Monday at noon for the Skill Building Monday drawing group. Thank you all very much. Take care. Have a wonderful day, and I will see everyone next week. And now I just have to wait for the delay.